here.
Yeah, it's good to have you back. Well, let's go into what we have for you today. Good morning and welcome to FCT Brief. Today, our focus is on the nation's capital as authorities intensify efforts to curb crime and strengthen public safety. From street-level policing to intelligence-led operations, residents of the Federal Capital Territory are watching closely, hopeful that renewed strategies will translate into safer communities across the city and its satellite towns. In recent weeks, concerns over robbery, kidnapping, one chance, and other security threats have continued to dominate public discourse. As Abuja grows in population and economic activity, the demand on law enforcement have become more complex.
This raises critical questions. How effective are current security measures? What new tactics are being deployed? And how can citizens and security agencies work together to ensure lasting peace in the FCT? And to help us walk through these issues, we are joined this morning by Mila Dantawaye, the Commissioner of Police, FCT Command. He will be sharing insights into ongoing operations, recent successes, and what residents should expect as the fight against crime is intensified. Commissioner, nice to be here with you. Nice to have you here this morning.
Thank you very much
All right.
for having me.
Yeah, let's start this way. Abuja, the FCT, is bordered by several states, and of recent we've been having heightened insecurity in some of these states. That help us understand, with the manpower you have and also the logistics you have in place, are there things you think in 2026 that you will do differently to reassure FCT residents that the police is up to the task of securing and making FCT very peaceful?
Okay, thank you again for having me. I assumed duty as Commissioner of Police, FCT Police Command, just in October. And as soon as I came, there were so many issues on ground I had to tackle, starting from the issues of one chance to preparations towards the festive period. By the grace of God, myself and my entire team decided to start working. We kicked it off almost immediately and decided to adopt so many things that we thought could help us police FCT, including the launching of Operation Sweep within the Federal Capital Territory, directed to meet with our men that are deployed at the fringes, places we consider that those hoodlums could pass through or can pass through to get to FCT. So we went to encourage them. We went to get to feel them, those troops on the bushes. So we went to as far as the bushes around Buari, Abaji, and Karu. Just for them to know that, look, we are with you, and whatever you need to be effective, we will provide for you. We had that robust engagement with our troops in those fringes. And those are locations that the bush is vast, the forest is vast, but those are locations we consider the hoodlums use. And those human beings, those security agents are actually domiciled there. While we were celebrating our Christmas and New Year, they were there. They are the ones that face mosquito bites. They are the ones that face snake bites. And I want to tell you that they have agreed to stay put there, and they are the ones securing us. That is why, to an extent, we would say that kidnapping and such vices have run away from FCT. So truly, they are a bit far from us. So we went to as far as bushes around Buari, villages like Kawu, Tokulo, Igu, Tungambijimi. We had interface with them. We had interface with the community. And then the next time I went out was towards Sabaji, we went to Achido. It's a forest. In fact, those people, our security men, are domiciled somewhere at the boundary between us and Nasarawa, which is Achido. It's actually in Nasarawa State, okay, but that was the best place we can deploy based on the directive of the Inspector General of Police that security shouldn't look at jurisdiction.
All right, Commissioner.
Yes,
we hear you, but when you say that kidnapping and crime rates have reduced within the FCT, some people might want to disagree with you. And I like that when you started talking, you spoke about, acting on this issue of one chance, because that is one issue that has been on the front burner, especially in the FCT. Very recently, we saw a nurse that was, murdered by this issue of this one chance matter. And I'm aware, because we stay in the FCT, when you go out at night, you see some checkpoints. Some places are lit, some places are not. So what is the command doing concerning this one chance issue that seems to be, gaining more momentum by the day? Okay,
one chance, well, if we want to narrow that and see it as kidnap, it's an entirely different thing. So when I talked about kidnapping, I mean those heavily armed men die. But one chance is one crime that today I must tell you that if taken away in FCT, by the grace of God, would say FCT is reasonably calm. And for me, we have, as soon as we came, we went into action, and we have so many of them in custody. So many of those one-chance criminals. But I want to also think that there may be so many, they may come around and perpetrate their crime, which is very painful. The case of Nurse Chinemerem is a very, very unfortunate incident. I feel very pained about it, and let me seize this opportunity to condole the family. May God Almighty accept her soul. I got to know about it based on a petition written by Nigeria Nurses and Midwifery Association, and we have commenced investigation. I have directed the Deputy Commissioner of Police to personally take charge of the investigation. I'm sure very soon we will get somewhere. It was not reported at any police station, to the best of my knowledge. I've been trying to find out from my DPOs. So it will also be nice if we get more details. We have started contacting those that wrote the petition to us. So that is a very unfortunate case, and we feel bad about it. And so many other cases of one chance. But I also want to appeal to residents of FCT that we need to be a bit more at alert. I have noticed that people are not security conscious at all. So many of our residents, you see, and if you notice, it is mostly ladies that happens to, which is very unfortunate. Today, our phones, we are so attached to our phones that you get to motor parks, you are not looking at, you're not thinking of your security. You go there, and a vehicle that is probably tinted is coming, and you're willingly entering. Somebody is probably pressing his phone up to when he's flagging down a vehicle, and he's just jumping into it. He's not looking at we should be more security conscious. So one, I will also advise residents of FCT that we should go to designated parks that we know, and avoid taking vehicles from those they call along, right? We should stop using those along vehicles. Then as you're entering, you want to check, does it have plate number? Is it well registered? I know there may be fake numbers, but at least that will help you secure yourself to an extent. You want to check, is it tinted? Some people that tint their vehicles do that with negative intent. So please let us be conscious of ourselves. We want to also check how many people are in those vehicles, in that vehicle. How are they looking? Sometimes your instinct tells you some things. So I appeal to residents of FCT to assist us, but we're not sitting down. We are facing it headlong. Investigations are ongoing. We're using digital technology to trace any case we have. Okay, I'll see if we can bring them to book.
All right, Commissioner. We'll still come back to this conversation, but that will be right after the short breakfast FCT brief, and we're still discussing security within the FCT. Now,
Yeah, CP, still talking about this one chance, you made mention of tinted glasses, and I know that the police is also on this verge of making sure that people go through a normal research to have, if they want to use tinted glasses. Now, is it not possible to say those on commercial services, maybe it's Uber or Bolt, if you're going to use it for commercial service, that you do not tint your glass? Because I've seen a lot of those ones like that with tinted glasses. Then the second one also is, what are you doing about the influx of motorbikes into the FCT? A lot of states in the major cities, they have done away with motorbikes, but it's like driven out of those states, they converge on Abuja. You look at the fringes, the border, the communities around the FCT, you see a lot of bikes growing. Should we wait until it becomes begin to create havoc before we take action to reduce the propensity to being used for crime activities?
Okay, so let me start from the first question.
Okay.
Tints, like we know, you're outside, you hardly see inside the car. So whatever is going on inside the vehicle, you don't know.
Yeah.
So I would personally think that Nigerians should agree to the fact that we really don't need it, except for very extreme cases, maybe medical reasons. You will agree with me that of recent, IG had to tell us to wait because he wants to follow legal procedures. So we are waiting in that regard. But Ubers and those other vehicles, they all fall into the same category, and they're also guided by laws. So we may not be able to take it up upon ourselves to take it as a decision that they should stop using them. We will just wait for what the court will eventually say, like the IGP has graciously said we should do. We'll wait to hear what the court will say. But bottom line is, I think it should just be general. Because I also know that some people that have Uber vehicles sometimes use it for personal reasons. And if it's for medical reason and you're driving the same vehicle, there's for medical reason. Do you understand, sir? So I wouldn't be able to speak much on that. We're just waiting for what the court will eventually say and the directive that the IG would send down to us. Then on motorcycles, there's an operation that is ongoing. We keep raiding those locations because there are laws around FCT, and we know the areas motorcycles should not ply. Operation Sweep is taking it upon, incidentally, I'm the chairman, okay? Operation Sweep is taking it upon itself to get to those locations and continue to mop them up. But you know, there are always stubborn people. There are always stubborn people that want to ply on the routes that they are not supposed to ply. So the operation is ongoing. For as far as we are concerned, as security agents within Federal Capital Territory, we have sat down. We had very intensive deliberations on those on motorcycles, and we're clamping down on them, those that go beyond where they should ply. So the operation is ongoing, sir.
Well, Commissioner, let's talk about response to distress calls, because residents within the FCT complain that there's slow response from security agents such as the police when it comes to time of distress. Why is this so? Why is effective emergency policing quite unreliable within the FCT? That is a region that is supposed to be setting the national standard.
I wouldn't want to use the word unreliable like you did. Okay. There are various locations within FCT that may not be easily accessible. I know you know that. Okay. But to the best of my knowledge, since I came, we've even received encomiums on that. Since I came, and even before I came, my predecessors, our response time is within the range of 5 minutes, especially if the place is motorable. We have deployments of rapid response teams across the city. I'm sure you see them at various locations. We also have the Abuja Control Squad, ACOS vehicles. They are all scattered. So once you call, and I'm going to read out the phone numbers, our control numbers, if you don't mind.
Go
ahead. Good. I'll give you just one or two. Okay. We have 0803 200-3913. Then we also have...
Would you like to take that again for
okay,
people that
so
didn't get it?
0803-200-3913. That is one. Then we have 0705-733-7653. I repeat, 0705-733-7653. That is our control room number. So when emergency calls are placed to the number, the next thing he does is just to pick up his walkie-talkie and raise the closest patrol team to that location. Between when he raises the patrol team and when we expect that the vehicles should get to those locations, the team should get to those locations, shouldn't be more than 5 minutes. But I also agree that there are places that are very, very deep inside and are not easily motorable. Let me refer you back to a case of an attempted kidnap in Buhari, of very recent. They got there and the man called. The team got there, according to the man, within about 6 minutes. When I went there the next day, it took me from the point that the team was to that location, it took me about 8 minutes drive. So that tells you that the team maneuvered because they went with armored personnel carrier, a very big vehicle, big tires. So they were able to, when I eventually asked my DPO, the team leader, he said they maneuvered through some shortcuts that took them there. But some of these roads are actually curves, okay? But if you really know the terrain, you could just hit one curve directly to the location instead of avoiding the curves instead of going through it. So our response time generally, we're trying to make it as low as 5 or even less than that 3 minutes, if possible. The question is, do people have our numbers? How fast do they call us? I have noticed that these days, even when somebody is drowning in a swimming pool, people are busy carrying their phones to record instead of thinking of placing calls across to security agencies. So I will appeal to residents of FCT to have those numbers saved in their phone. Maybe they make it AAA, so that as soon as you flip, it's on top and you quickly dial. By the grace of God, we'll react.
Okay, when you have this security meeting in the FCT, is it possible also to suggest, because the role intelligence technology plays, will play, it's more than what actual personnel will play. You talked about your personnel at the fringes that are embedded in the fringes. Are we also looking at scaling the use of technology, cameras, CCTV cameras? Because Abuja is the federal capital. You are hosting the federal government. Shouldn't we have that as a priority, that Abuja is well covered with technology so that it will give your personnel less hassle? You also talked about the roads, which means it's a serious challenge that will help complement the effectiveness of personnel if the roads are okay. Do you suggest these things to the appropriate authorities?
Yes, we do. Digital technology, you can never undermine it. It's very important. We're talking even up to the level of the Minister of FCT to see how that can happen. But you know, it's not something that I just resumed, you're aware. I just resumed. In our last meeting, we raised it. It was one of the major topics we talked about. And the minister is not sounding like he doesn't like it. The processes are already on, to the best of my knowledge. The processes are already on. I think we would get there. Would get there. It's something that would aid security. But you see, I don't know. Individuals should also look at the possibility of using CCTV cameras in their locations. So you have a business venture, you have this house, I'm sure you have it. Anywhere. If we have it, it will aid investigation at any point in time and might even help us to deter some of these crimes that may want to happen. Sometimes the criminals see cameras and avoid the building completely. Yeah. So I want to encourage our city residents as well, to especially homeowners, business owners, to look at the possibility of digitalizing their process. When I say digitalizing, putting CCTV cameras and those things that will help us tomorrow, especially when we come on investigation. And then, like I said, it might deter the criminals.
When we talk crime, sometimes people actually accuse men in uniform of complacency when it comes to, the increasing rates of this crime. Some people have accused the police and some of these security agencies of even aiding some of this crime and maybe robbery. What is, the command doing about instilling discipline within the force? And if any officer is caught wanting, what kind of punishment is given to that officer?
Okay, so no uniformed service or organization wants its staff to be involved in any crime or criminality. The police, in particular, we will not take it, we will not accept it one bit if any police officer is involved in any kind of crime. There are punishments that we give to anybody that does that. I also will tell you that in everywhere you are, even if you go and look at your house properly, there's one person that is not too compliant to the rules within the house. So the police is also a large organization that may have one or two people that are criminally minded, but they know that if they are gotten, they'll be dealt with. Depending on the kind of, when you say crime is already very high. So you're talking about kidnapping, you're talking about robbery, you're talking about homicide. If any policeman does that, there's no two ways about it. He's certainly going to be dismissed as soon as we can prove that he did it, and then he'll be charged to court just like any other person.
Okay. Let's quickly talk about your relationship with other security agencies and the FCT. I know that you said earlier that in the fringes you have this operation that you launched, the Operation Sweep. Now let's look at the vigilantes. Are you actively working with the vigilantes so that they can help provide information because they are community based? So tell us about the level of cooperation and working with these people.
It's very, very high. Very high. I really wish we knew this question was coming. We would have directed the PRO to give you some videos of those locations we went to. Without those people, you won't even understand the terrain. Let me tell you what the brief I got in the bush. They are deployed at some locations around the bushes that they can see very wide coverage of the bush. So most times how they get those criminals is as they are coming from afar, most of them operate at night. As they're coming from afar, you see one torchlight, just one beam of light. And because you already understand the terrain, because they understand the terrain, because they are locals, they are citizens of that community, they cut them off. They quickly go ahead of them, pin down somewhere and lay ambush for them. And results will always be gotten. So I told you, if you remember, that I went around traditional institutions. So when I go around traditional institutions, it is just for synergy. Met with the chiefs, met with the youth bodies, met with even the religious bodies around there, market people around there. So we cannot, let me not say we cannot, we shouldn't think of surviving without the community people. So vigilante are part of the operations, especially at those fringes. At those fringes. Within the city center, very soon I've had meetings with them. Very soon, we are already looking at them, we are profiling them. The DPOs have been so charged to profile them so that we'll see how the work, how we use them to secure FCT.
We see rapid development within the FCT with regards to roads. A lot of new roads now are being constructed within the FCT. And I believe that this has given rise to more blind spots. How is the command also responding to fix men in these blind spots and also, put some level of technology to ensure that, this does not create more escape routes for, these criminals?
Okay, like we don't exactly have what you call technology today, so we're thinking out of the box. We're crime mapping everywhere. The DPOs in my my New Year meeting with them just on Monday, I charge them to re-crime map the area. That is to say, yes, there's a new road here. What do you do? Where and where do you block? I told them how one night I drove around this town, and I said I wanted to avoid, I told a friend, I told him I wanted to avoid police patrols, police deployments. So I navigated, because I understand FCT a bit, I navigated and ensured that I avoided it. So I told that DPO that covers the area to go and check what I did as well, and every other DPO should go and replicate that in his area. Look at the possibility of a vehicle that has kidnapped somebody, that's taken somebody hostage, wants to avoid police. He thinks about those roads that you are not in, so you must think like them. I mean the criminals. So I have charged the DPOs, and that is what we are doing now. They are crime mapping their areas. Deployments will be upscaled as well. If you notice, policemen are everywhere around the city, especially at night. I make sure I personally go out to see that. And so once they crime map, they also know where to block. Of course, we're also not relaxing. We're also going out to see and help them crime map.
Okay, if time will permit me, let me just ask this. How do you measure, track your performance and relate with the public? Because it's one thing for you to say, okay, we've done this, we've achieved this, and the public, do they trust your judgment, and how do you communicate it to the public, what you have done, what you have achieved so far?
We have only one medium of communication, you people. And we'll be showcasing it, the social media also there. Whatever we're doing and we have done, they are seeing it. And a few people actually walk into the office to tell us that they appreciate what we're doing. We're also open to feedbacks. So we also want to hear from them. I've told my PA, whoever comes to my office, you have access. So that we will sit down. Most of the questions I ask them are the same thing that you just asked me. I want to know if they think that we are securing FCT the way we should. Sometimes you'll be surprised that a civilian will give you an advice that will go a long way. Yeah, so please, we're open to that. And residents of FCT should feel free to come to us, to go to any DPO at any point in time and give him an advice. My office is also very open. My deputy commissioners are there, and we are all one large team. Apart from that, security agencies, the cooperation today, the synergy among all of us, like I told you earlier, is very, very high. So if you pass any message to any other service, be rest assured that we will get it quickly.
All right, Commissioner Dantawaye, it's a pleasure speaking with you for the past 30 minutes, and we'll definitely look forward to a more secure FCT under your command. Thank you so much for your time.
And you know we do have confidence in what you guys are doing.
Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you for being a part of our conversation.